You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge, just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. And, of course, we're talking about a number of illegal migrants, these caravans that are saying that they're planning to hurry up and cross the border before Trump gets into office. There is a new sheriff in town, and joining us is the former border chief and also former acting ICE director, someone who knows and understands what it's like at the border, Ron Vitiello. Ron, it's so great to have you back here on the show. This has got to be like an earthquake for those who are trying to cross the border illegally, and apparently Trump has also already told Mexico, don't think of it, don't do anything. Your thoughts of how things are certainly going to change for the better in terms of American security at the border.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. There's a long list for the president to work on as it relates to the border. The good news is he's been successful in giving the tools to the front line to be able to solve this problem, to end the chaos, to end the incentives that a caravan would have for catch and release at the border. And so I'm very hopeful, and I'll give him one checklist item already. The morale at the front line of DHS, my former colleagues in the Border Patrol, are going to be very happy. They've already expressed their joy, if you will, using your words earlier, the joy of having a president in the White House, in the Oval Office, that cares about what they do and wants them to be successful. I'm so happy for them, and I look forward to the success that they will have finally the support of the Oval Office and the Commander-in-Chief to let them do the work they know how to do effectively.
Yeah, that's a great point, because a lot of them were saying that they were going to resign if Biden. I can't imagine how tough it must be for the border agents working there, the morale. And also, remember, it was this administration where even Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security, was not defending them with the charge of the migrant whipping. Remember they threw the Border Patrol agents under the bus, Ron.
That's what they've been faced with over the last 3+ years with this administration. They kicked off the worst border surge in our lifetimes in the history of the U.S.-Mexico border. And those agents, unfortunately, they're the front line. They had to deal with it each and every day as it got worse. And now they have an opportunity. They know that help is on the way. They know that the president ran on this issue. The American people sent a signal around the globe to any of the would-be migrants that are in the pipeline that it's not going to be the same when Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief. And I'm very hopeful that we're going to fix this problem. He knows how to do it. He knows what works and what doesn't work. His leverage with Mexico when I was still at the department was amazing. Mexico did things that I had never seen them do in my entire career in a sustained way. And so having that backup in the White House, having that direction and having that leadership is going to make a huge difference. And then putting the rule of law back in place as it relates to our immigration system, as it relates to border security, and protecting our communities, because they've suffered greatly under the scourge of these gangsters that are new to our towns and cities all over America, and the death and destruction that they've caused to our people.
Ronald, how long is it going to take to get it down to zero?
Well, it's just a matter of getting the right people in place, getting the right operational procedures in place. It went very quickly when we had the migrant protection protocols successfully negotiated with Mexico, the safe third country agreements, which is all based on immigration law. He did that without Congress's help. And we were still, he found a way to access money to put border wall up, the infrastructure that the agents need to work safer. And so, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, just having the understanding that things are going to be different is going to dissuade people from selling all their things, from contracting with smugglers and getting in that pipeline. There's already an impact.
What is it going to take to get the borders under control from the drug dealers?
Well, we have to end the incentives. You have to give those agents that are down there the freedom of movement. So they're not covered up with the humanitarian mission. They're not covered up with large surge of mass migration at the southwest border, which we've seen throughout the pendency of the Biden-Harris administration. You make that problem smaller. You give those agents the time and opportunity to patrol that border so they can make those seizures. They can save people who are in distress. They can rescue people from the human traffickers. That's the kind of thing that will happen organically because they'll have less of that humanitarian mission to carry out, and they'll be able to focus on drug smuggling. And then a real commitment with us sharing with Mexico and others on the international stage to put these cartels back in the box because they've been enriched throughout the last 3.5 years of the Biden-Harris administration. So there's a lot of work to do both on the diplomatic side to make sure that Mexico and we are on the same page as taking it to the smugglers. Instead of them controlling the border, let authorities in Mexico control their southwest border with Guatemala and having a shared responsibility on our border to, again, make the migration problem smaller so they can focus on the smugglers, the smuggling, and those cartels.
Absolutely. And we're talking to the former border chief and also former acting ICE director, Ron Vitiello. Ed Cox.
So, Ron, you secure the border. You got that locked down. Deportation program. How does that work? How do you get around sanctuary cities? How do you get the criminals and make sure they get out? That's the first deportations you want to do.
And by the way, Ed, did you see also, and Ron, you probably saw this, J.B. Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, said, if you want to remove anybody who's in our community, you got to go through me. They're already signaling that they don't want anybody to be deported.
It's outrageous. So how do the officers do that? What's the president need to do to enable them to do it?
Well, we've got to take on this issue of sanctuary cities, but without their help, there's lots of sheriffs. You saw all those red counties on the map, right, in the Electoral College map. All those counties that went for Trump. There's lots of sheriff's officers. There's lots of frontline law enforcement people who control the jails in the United States. Reconnect that pipeline that takes people from the jail and from the courthouse into the deportation pipeline and get them on the path to removal once they've come into the country illegally and then committed other crimes in our communities. Fix that problem, disincentivize sanctuary cities and sanctuary states like Illinois and make them pay. Take away their grant money. If they want to have law enforcement programs sponsored by the Department of Justice in the United States, then they're not going to get that money if they're going to give sanctuary to criminals who are also in the country illegally. But then you have right now people in the front line of ICE, the deportation officers, the enforcement removal operations, that know how to find people who are afoul of the immigration law, who have been convicted. So start targeting those criminals like this vicious gang from Venezuela. Put them on the priority list. Go after them hammer and tong until that problem gets smaller. And then work down the list, starting with the people who are a threat to public safety, and then working down into, so they're doing that right now. They're very good at it, locating those people, knowing where they are, targeting their arrest, and putting them in the removal pipeline.
Yeah.
And so empower those teams, give them the tools, and then give them the support, and then link them with law enforcement agencies all over the country who want to help protect their communities by removing these criminals day after day.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, there are so many, as we know, we heard. Thank you so much, Ron. This is such an important topic. Thank you so much. And boy, a lot of work ahead, but a lot of very important work ahead. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, great. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
Zaxby's Sensation Salad is so much more than a plain old salad. It's a salad, which begs the question, at what point does a salad stop being a salad and become a salad? Is it when you add Zaxby's fried chicken to it? Crunchy wontons? Asian slaw? Citrus vinaigrette? Teriyaki glaze? Sweet and spicy sauce? Or is it when you top it all with a handmade perfectly fried egg roll? Without a doubt, the egg roll. The Sensation Salad, only at Zaxby's.